안녕하세요. Hi friends, it's Deanna Willison with Our Blooming Catholic Life, and you can guess what came in the mail today. I know. I said I wasn't going to actually get any Billy Go books until Christmas. I was going to ask for them, but the husband said we're going on vacation. Go ahead and get yourself a couple of books. There's no really great bookstores near where we're going. I was like, ooh. Because I won't really have a lot of time to read books, but maybe to sit and do something. So what did I get? I always say Billy Go. I got the Go Billy Korean Made Simple workbook, which I did not have a sample for on my Kindle, as well as the book. And I got a notebook because I do use the composition style notebooks, the American ones that are just lines, and I know that's not really working for me. What I've been trying to do is trying to figure out spacing of making the Hangel syllables, and then underneath I've been doing a little bit of romanization at times because I'm still learning my silent letters. So I kind of roughly write out the Hangel or the romanization to see if I can pronounce it and get it right, and then I'll write any translation if I know it on the line underneath. And that's getting all confusing and mixed up, especially between the romanization and the English. It's not going well. So I wanted to get a notebook, and this is super pretty, and it's about the same size. It's probably a little bit bigger than a composition notebook, and for once in my life there's none out here. Let's give a look at the books and what are different. So Korean Made Simple, the Go Billy system. And if you've ever gone on the web, he always wears like the shirt, the hat, and the bears in a lot of the videos, so you're going to recognize him, that animation. It says it's a book for learning the Korean language. It's easy to use, in-depth, and fun. Learn the Korean writing system, information on Korean culture and history, over 1,000 vocabulary words and phrases, practice sessions built into each chapter, additional notes for experienced learners, 20 in-depth, easy-to-follow chapters. Anyone can learn Korean. No matter your age, young or old, you don't need to be a linguist to learn how to read, write, speak, and understand Korean. Let me guide you through the basics of this wonderful language through Korean Made Simple. Start your exciting journey into the Korean language today. Let's learn Korean, and the copyright is 2014. To open it up, I know I had that sample from Kindle and I got very excited, but it was really hard to show you what I was looking at. Just a very simple title page. Okay, the table of contents is a lot. Let me just check one thing, but it's all on one page. That's kind of helpful in a textbook. I have to say I do like that. My son would hate it. I just sat there and folded back the cover, but this is a textbook, son. He would never let me borrow a book again if he sees me do that in a video. Whoops. He rarely lets me borrow a book. I have to sign an agreement of a code of conduct. Anyway, here's the table of contents. You can see it's super easy to read and clear. He is not using Times New Roman, but he's using a super easy to read font. Preface, and that's going to be Roman numeral pages. And then Introduction to Hangel. More Hangel. Introduction to sound changes. Yeah, sound changes. Chapter 1, saying hello. Right off the bat. Actually, my problem is I've learned how to say hello, but I haven't learned how to say goodbye. And somebody teased me the other day and said goodbye in Korean as they were leaving. And I knew what they were saying, but I know it's slightly different than hello, and I couldn't remember it. So hopefully I'll learn to master saying hello and goodbye. Chapter 2 is likes and dislikes. 3 is simple sentences. 4 is wanting and not wanting. You can see why those are all going to be super important just for conversation icebreaker kind of things. Then it's going to get complicated. Chapter 5 starts verbs, more verbs, asking questions, more questions, adjectives, more adjectives. And 11, we're going to get into a little bit more detail, like go back and fill in the gaps that we need to have more intelligent conversation. Those are going to be colors, numbers, more numbers, negative sentences, Korean markers. Yeah, I've already run into those just in things I've read. You see it's the basic vocabulary word, but there's something at the end, and I think that's what Korean markers are. You don't hit them until chapter 15, though, so you're going to have a decent foundation in this book. A lot of the books throw them at you and don't explain it to you, and it's like a puzzle you'll have to unlock, which I do like puzzles, but sometimes it's just too much. 16 is telling time. Ooh, very important. Chapter 17 is shopping, then relationships, informal Korean. So I think most of the book is formal Korean if it has informal Korean at chapter 19. Chapter 20, past tense, and then answer keys. Appendix A, typing in Korean, which I've been doing pretty well on my phone. I don't know if he's going to be talking about a phone or a regular keyboard, a QWERTY keyboard, a physical keyboard. Appendix B is a Hangel chart and names of letters. Appendix C, sound change rules. I'm going to need a bookmark. A sticky note tab for that. Informal Korean conversations. Model conversations. Nice. Special thanks and a glossary. I am a huge fan of glossaries. And the book starts off pretty friendly there, right? So you've decided to learn Korean. I congratulate you on your decision and welcome you on your new journey. As for me, I first learned Korean while living in Korea in 2005. He doesn't say why he went to Korea, though. I've always wondered that. It's probably in one of the videos. We'll find out later. Upon returning home, I chose to major in Korean at my university in 2008, and it's been nonstop fun ever since. I'm happy with my decision to pursue Korean education as a career, and I hope to be able to help many others to see their Korean abilities improve as we study this wonderful language together here in this book. I think I did talk more about this this preface in the video I already have about when I got the Kindle book. It does tell you how to use the book. The book builds upon itself with each chapter. I recommend you take your time going through each lesson in order. And that's why the table of contents, while it's super helpful more for reviewing, don't be tempted to say, I need to learn this and jump ahead. It's one of the things I've learned. This is a very good, thorough system. And while I watch the videos out of order, I'm listening to them a lot of times just to hear him pronounce Korean words. And I pick up little tidbits here and there, but I have no illusions that I'm learning a new concept because that would be out of order. So I do want to study things in order. It does say if you take notes along the way as you complete each chapter, practice reading, writing, and speaking as much as possible. If you have a friend who can speak Korean, practice speaking and listening frequently. So the thing I do for that, is I watch videos, and that's where I'm getting that. Sometimes I do watch a lot of Go Billy's videos, but he being a male, I don't want to just watch him. Although he does have a lot of female guests on, but to get just the tone of the voice just right, I also watch Pauline Books and Media. They're a group of nuns, and they are in Korea. They have a publishing house there, and they do tons of book reviews as well as praying the rosary. So I listen to them to kind of hear the sounds of Korean. But do I talk to anyone yet? No, I'm not. I know I'm not ready to say anything more than hello, but I'll hopefully be getting there soon. Yes, if you notice a grammar form you are not familiar with, I recommend proceeding through the book more slowly. The book builds upon itself, so if you've missed something and it does not appear in the chapter you're currently reading, it may have been skipped from a previous chapter. There is no need to rush through the basics of the Korean language, and I'm totally not rushing there. It will take time to become familiar with using the Korean alphabet and to become used to hearing the sounds of the language. This is normal. Once you've learned the basics, it will become much easier and faster to move forward and acquire new concepts. So don't be in a hurry. You'll get faster. There are also free audio files for the book. I haven't checked that out. I'll have to do that in a later review. How to study Korean. He gives you some tips right there. And then he starts out, this is still in the preface, he's telling you some cultural facts about Korea. Sentence structure. Why Korean? Why would you want to study it? Notes about the nida form. I think that's the way you say it. If this is your first time learning Korean and you've never heard the nida form before, you can feel free to skip this section and begin learning about the Korean alphabet. I would like to discuss my usage of the nida form in this book. This book has been designed to help people learn Korean language clearly and correctly, including proper grammar rules, and is not a phrase book. A lot of them are. This is not. As such, I've chosen to introduce the nida form, a very polite way of speaking, first and foremost in the book, and only introduce the yul form, again, I'm guessing I'm saying this right, used for the majority of informal speaking towards the end, beginning with chapter 19. As a disclaimer, the nida form is not commonly used in real regular Korean conversations. This is because it is a formal form and used most often for formal and business situations. He's going to discuss all that, and it's just the reason why I do it and I like this approach is reason number 2. I almost said dose, wrong language. It's better to be too polite than too rude. Just saying. So I'm going to stick with that. What is Hangel? Why do I need to learn it? Let's jump into an actual chapter and show you. I'm going to randomly grab one just for fun. Chapter 7, asking questions. So here's a dialogue, and there is a little bit of a cartoon so you can kind of get a little bit of context. Always good. It's a girl holding a math book, and you can see she has some thoughts. She seems to be talking about some tools of math, and he looks like completely out of his league here, right? So we'll see how that conversation goes. And then he breaks it down, just like, he's talking about a particular verb stem. Just like when we conjugated the present tense, making questions is done in the same way. Take the verb stem, review chapter 5 if you're not sure, and add, and he tells you the ending if it ends in a vowel, or this if it ends in a consonant. Add a question mark to the end, just like in English, and it shows you a basic conversation about, do you like kimchi? Then there's another conversation. And they're talking about in chapter 5, we learned about, and I think it's called she, how it can be used to mean Mr., Mrs., or Miss when added to the end of a person's full name or last name. So then they're going to add that to the conversations. Let's see, more asking questions. What else you can use in forms? Some syllable blocks that you can use to connect two nouns together in a sentence, sort of like and. And then they go through a bunch of examples. Let's see, more asking questions. Topic markers, which we haven't gone over yet, but he's introducing them here. And then there's a cultural note about dreaming of pigs? I don't know. Let's see then. Then here is the practice, new phrases, and vocabulary. Oops, kind of have my fingers over some of the vocabulary so you can't see that. Leave that up there for just a second. More vocabulary. Wow. So like 2.5 pages of vocabulary just for that little chapter. So let's look at some of the other features in the back. Answer keys. Well, sometimes your answers are going to be in Korean and sometimes your answers are going to be in English. That's good to know. They're marked pretty clearly. You're not going to mistake which is which. I don't really want to hold it up again. I don't want to be showing people the answers. Perhaps you're a student and don't have access to the answer keys. But it's all very clearly written. Appendix A, typing in Korean. My husband just had this question. We were watching the K-drama Law School on Netflix, and he said he noticed in the last episode that they were typing on an English keyboard, but that the text they were typing was coming up Korean. How did they do it? Dun, dun, dun. It's in here. Ooh, I can't wait to show him. The book is already valuable for him. There is a way to do it. Now, it does say you can easily look up how to do it online, and you could possibly get some Hangel stickers to put on. I said that. I said maybe there's some. That's exactly what I said. I didn't understand it. Looking at the picture, it totally makes more sense. Do the symbols go? Does it go with the romanization? No, it's not the romanization. It does not see that way at all. The consonants are on the left, the vowels are on the right, and the bottom row is the strong consonants. Very interesting. And then there's how do you type them to make syllable blocks. I've kind of already figured that out on my phone, so I feel like that's simple. I feel like that's going to be similar. I said the word symbol because now I'm looking at the Hangel chart. Awesome. I like the chart. It shows you how the letters, the consonants and vowels go together to form syllable blocks. Yay. Hangel charts and the names of letters. Yeah, no, I like that. And it tells you how to pronounce the name as well. Yay. Appendix C, so the sound change rules are going to be in the back. You know, in English we have plenty of sound change rules, so that's not unusual. And they go through it for the different letters. And if I knew how to say the names of them, I would tell you. But like when the S sounding one comes after the H, because S does not have a strong consonant version of itself, instead it becomes like S, like two of the S symbols together. And then there's some examples use it with words. There's a lot on these sound change rules, which is going to be super helpful. Back here are your sample conversations. They are in Korean. Also, all the numbers have been rewritten using regular numerals. I use this for additional practice reading numbers on your own. I will say I had a bag of Korean food the other day and it had Arabic numbers, which actually made it easier for me to translate the bag, because then I figured out what word meant minutes and what word meant seconds and what were words for temperature. So that was kind of fun. It made those easier. Did it turn out well? No. I hadn't bought enough oil to cook them in because I didn't see the word generously. I thought it was just a shallow pan fry, and it was legit a deep fry, and I don't have an air fryer, so they exploded in the toaster oven. I managed to cook a few at a time in a little bit of oil, and they were amazing and delicious. It was a sticky rice sweet potato ball. So yeah, make sure there's English on the package, or ask somebody at the store to translate it for you while you're there. Might be more helpful. Since the ingredients were in English, I assumed there were going to be directions in English. That didn't happen. So tons of sample conversations. I know, we're already pretty far in. I'm going to do the workbook and the notebook as a separate video. The glossary is awesome. It has the word. It has 1 or 2 meanings for each, and it tells you not the page number, but what chapter you're going to find it in. So a very nice glossary done in 2 columns. I guess it's in Korean alphabetical order, which maybe I need to practice learning in order. Yep, that's what it is, because you can see there. Darker one. Anything else? Nope. That's the end. These are actually made in Delaware. Nice. And this one was made on these are self-published. It was made on the 19th of October, 2021. I think it was made when I ordered it. I didn't know they came with this kind of cover on those ones. Hey, really nice. Super good to know. Awesome. Okay, catch the next video and I'll review the workbook and the Korean practice book. God bless you, friends. Bye.